In this series of tutorials, we're going to use SolidWorks to design the BRMe car chassis. We'll make that as one piece. We'll make the little axles as secondary pieces. Depending on time-wise, we'll have a go at maybe making the axle, the front wheel, the pulley for the back, and the back wheels. We can actually make a fully assembled SolidWorks model of our BRMe car. Okay, so first of all, we're going to start making this part here, the center part, the chassis. In terms of the measurements, I have gone through, measured them, and I've got them on this little sketch here. So this is going to be my little crib sheet that I'm going to keep coming back to just to check numbers and things like that. Okay, what do we do first of all? Let's fire up SolidWorks. So SolidWorks open, let's start a new part. And okay. The plane we'll do it is in the top plane. So when I go to, so I'm going to click on Sketch in the top left, up to Sketch again, and I'll click on the top plane. So it's just this little corner here, so you can see top plane is selected. I'm going to start by just drawing a rectangle. So that's my basic shape. So on the top left, I'll just grab the rectangle tool, and I will start drawing from the origin. Okay, otherwise it will never be fully defined. So start drawing there, and I'm just going to draw that. Okay, I'm just recentering it using the mouse wheel, pulling it backwards and forwards just so I've got it in the center so I can see what I'm doing. Okay, first of all, let's have a look at the dimensions of this sort of basic rectangle. So the dimensions are 230 by 50. Okay, so 230 by 50. So grab my smart dimensions and I make this 230. Okay, now because of this first one, I'm just going to make sure I'm going to type 230 millimeters. Okay, always really important when you first put that first measurement in that you insist that it's in millimeters, just in case it's gone to inches. If in the corner down here it says IPS, don't worry about that just yet. Okay, but just make sure that says 230 mm for millimeters. Okay, if I'm just going to check down here, if it's now saying IPS there, just click on that drop down box and change it to mmgs. Okay, if you do that, it will kick you out of the sketch, so it'll look like this. You just need to go back to sketch, click on any line, and then you're back into the drawing mode. Okay, so let's smart dimension the other side here. So this is going to be, so now I know this is definitely in millimeters. Okay, so I can just plonk in here, it was 50. Okay, so that's my basic shape, so 230 by 50. Next piece here is I need to do this little cutout, which I can see is 68 by 10. Okay, so I'm going to grab another rectangle tool up in the corner, starting right in that corner there, and I'm just going to draw here. Okay, remember when you draw, you don't need to be particularly accurate because obviously the smart dimensions will overdo it and make it perfect for you. Okay, so smart dimension there, this is going to be 10. Just drag it away and click on this line here and drag that away, and that was going to be 68. Okay, now obviously I've got this extra line in here that I don't want, all these two extra lines here. So how to get rid of those? I click on Trim Entities and make sure it's on Trim to Closest, this bottom of the four options, and then I'm just going to click on this line here twice and then that line there twice. Okay, now you'll see what's happened there is that it's now gone sort of bluey grey, so that's good. That means it recognises it as being a solid shape. One thing it's done that we didn't want it to do is actually got rid of our smart dimensions. So I'm just going to grab to the other end and just quickly put it on that one there. Okay, so it's back still 50. That's fine, just so I know that's there. Okay, right, what's next? Next, I want to shape this corner here. Okay, because if we look at our shape, you can see it's not straight, it does kind of bend around here and it bends around there, and that's what we call a fillet. Okay, so we're going to fillet that. So go to the fillet tool. So in my drawings up here you can see my sketch fillet. Click on there and I'm just going to click that line and that line. Okay, now I don't think that's enough in terms of, because it looks like on the shape it's only in the middle bit, so I'm going to try making that 20 and see how it looks. So I just click on 20 and click on the outside. That looks a bit better. Okay, then to do the other one, I'm just going to again do click and click, and you can see it's drawn in that shape like that for me. Okay, I say okay, and it will cut those bits out. All right, so looking more like our shape. Next thing to do is there are a couple of cutouts, aren't they? So we've got this main big cutout here for our front wheel, and then we've got this what's called a straight slot here, sort of in the center. Okay, so we'll start by doing this one here. So it's just another rectangle. Okay, that's going to need to be equidistant there, and we'll need to know the distance there as well, and how obviously how big the squares are, the dimensions. So let's just draw it in to start with. So I'm just going to grab it in here and just plonk it like that. Okay, I'm going to check my measurements. So what do the measurements say? Measurements on that say 48 by I think it's 15. Yeah, not that clear on that diagram, but we'll go with that. So smart dimension, so we're saying that's 48, and we're going to say this is 15. Okay, and we need to know how far it is that way and how far it is that way. So that's again, we'll have a look at that drawing and see if it tells us. Let's have a look. What does it say? I think it's saying, so it's saying that's 17.5 across that way, and I think that's saying 4.5 that way, or is it 12? No, these are 12 going across the way, aren't they? Okay, we'll try on 4.5, and we'll see what that looks like. So smart dimension from the end line there to there. No, I think if we put that, that's going to be far too close if we did that. Okay, I'm just trying to have a look and see what it is. If that's 29 to there, well, let's just try 10. Let's try 10. We can always adjust it later if it looks a bit odd. Okay, so we've gone in 10. Now we need to make this in the center. Now obviously this is 50 across the way. Take away my 15 would give me 35, and I want half of 35. So I'll show you a little trick we can do. So if I click the top and the bottom there, when I go into here, I can actually just say 35 divided by 2. Okay, say okay, and it'll do just sort of basic maths for us if we need to do things like that. So there you go, that's added in 17.5. Okay, I'm just going to double check this front bit here because I'm not happy with that. It looks a bit too close. Let's have a look at the actual picture. It's fairly close, isn't it? Okay, I think we're going to leave it actually. I think that's probably right actually with a 10. Okay, what is next? Next is to, let's add on the straight slot. And this shape here is what we call a straight slot. Okay, so that's going to go dead center that way. It looks like it's fairly much center that way as well. So let's add that in. In terms of measurements, I can see it's meant to be 37. Now I know for a fact that's not quite right. It's meant to be 37 from the outside shape, and it's 15 across the way. Okay, so let's have a look, and obviously it's 25 from the center. So let's have a go at drawing that. So to the straight slot, put my teeth in, click on there, and now when you draw this, first of all, you draw a line across the way. Okay, so I'm just going to draw a line like that. So I'm just going to click and draw a line like that, and then you see as you sort of expand out, it gives you that sort of shape that we're after. Okay, let's do the smart dimensions. So clicking at the top and the bottom, and this is going to be 15. Okay, and then now this is a slightly trickier one because I want to go from this dot here to that dot, and you have to sort of hover over for a second from that dot there to that dot there, and that's 37. So quite a bit smaller than we've got at the moment. Okay. Alright, and we just need to now yeah, let's mention it again. So from this, so it's going to be from the center here to the top, and that's going to be 25 because obviously that's half of 50. And then we need to have a bit of a think about how far away it is. I'm just going to go back to my drawing. I'm not 100% convinced about the shape of that, I'll be honest. Now they've said 37 across that way. Let's have a look. What does it look like? No, it is smaller than the front one, isn't it? Okay, we're going to go with that. So 37, not as in this drawing, but actually from the edge of there to the edge of there, we've got 25. Okay. Now they're saying, how are they doing that? 24 from there, 34 from there. Okay, so in terms of, remember when I want my shape to be fully defined, so at the moment you can see it's underdefined because it knows how far it is that way but doesn't know how far it is that way. Okay, so we're just going to do that now. Now they've got 34 from some object here. Now let's have a look. I think it's a little bit closer in than that. So, oh, actually it's a bit further away. So if we said, why don't we say 36 away from that edge there? Okay, so we're going to go 36 from that edge there, and we'll have a little look there. Now obviously that's going to be the end point. So back to Smart Dimension, hover over that center dot there. They kind of, let me zoom right in so we can see what we're talking about. So we just hover over here, it should come up with a little orange dot, that's it. So from there to there, and we're going to say that is, what did we say? Let's try 35. Okay, so we're going to pull that across there. Brilliant. And hopefully, as you can see, it now says fully dimensioned, fully defined again. Okay, so you'll always, as you add something, it'll go underdefined, and as you put your couple of smart dimensions in, it'll start saying defined again. Okay, what's next? Next is to add on my squares. So we've got quite a few of these to do. So we're going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 of these. Okay, so we may run out of time on this little video because I'm limited to 15 minutes, but we'll see how much we can get done. Okay, so I'm going to grab another rectangle and let's have a little look on the actual original shape and see how far it is away. Okay, so it's about, right, okay, so that looks quite nice, doesn't it? Because that looks like it's halfway between there and then it's kind of drawing around there, and they look halfway between that bit and there. So I'm just kind of getting an idea. That's going to be halfway, so when I draw this first one, I can resize it halfway that way. And in terms of that, it looks like there's probably a 3mm gap between them, and then that's the halfway point between the shape. Okay, so I've got some ideas of where it's going to go. So let's go into this. I'm going to focus on here, and I want to do 4 these little rectangles around there. So okay, so I'm just going to go 1, 2, just going to chuck them in. Okay, like that. Okay, so I've got the rectangles in. Obviously, let's start thinking about resizing them. Now the thickness of the wood is going to be this way, isn't it? Because the A shape goes in that way. So they're all going to be 3 mils. So let's click on here and say 3. And that will be 3. This one will be 3. And this one will be 3. Okay, so we've got all those. In terms of the other way, I know it's going to be 5 mil. So while we're here, let's just get them all 5. Oh, I've just what I've done there. Let's go cancel. I've pushed the wrong button. So back to Smart Dimensions again. Yep, so that's 5, and that's 5. Okay. Oh, something a bit strange wrong there. Let's go back to 5. Okay, so all my boxes are 5 by 3, 5 by 3. I need to get them, so I wanted it in the center point here, didn't I? So how big did I say that was? That's right. Okay, so that's let's have a think of this. So that's 48, and I want it to be about 2 mil off to the side. So half of that would be 24. So is that 22 from the edge? Let's have a look. See how that looks. So Smart Dimension from that edge there to that edge there. Oh, I'll try again. Smart Edge, Smart Dimension, and I think I said 22. Let's try 22. Okay, and we'll do the same with that one. So from that edge over to there, and again say 22. Yep, that looks fine to me. So obviously add those two together gives me 44, and that'd be a 4 mil gap in the middle. Did I want 4 mil or did I want 5 mil? 12. No, it needs to be 2 mil, doesn't it? So let's make that 23, and this 23. There we go. Okay, because why I'm coming up with those numbers is I know for a fact that this the part that fits into there is 12 across the way, because it's this 4 of them fit into that. Okay, so they're 12 mil minus the 5 give me 2 mils in the center. Okay, so I know the bit that's going to fit into there. So now I just do exactly the same with this one. So from that side to that side, and I would say 23, and from that side to that side,